We are in section 7, recommendations for the practice success. This is the last section. The syllabus here is to apply the recommendations for information security management success and how they are supported by the ITIL guiding principles. Now, before we get into this topic, you should note that the content of these practice guides, not only this practice but other practices also, should be taken as suggestion of areas that an organization could consider when establishing and nurturing their own practices. But when using the content of the practice guides, organizations should always follow the ITIL guiding principles. And these are the 7 guiding principles. As you already know, focus on values, start where you are, progress iteratively with feedback, collaborate and promote visibility, think and work holistically, keep it simple and practical, optimize and automate. And let us see how the success of this practice is linked to the relevant guiding principles. We are looking at particularly at a few recommendations. We have here 5 recommendations coming up. We have the 5th one on the next slide, and we'll take a look at some descriptions here for each of those recommendations and link them with the right guiding principles. The first one is the positioning the information security management as every employee's responsibility. It is important that every employee has some responsibility for this practice. While there will be a certain role or a team that is accountable for the success of the practice, but every employee should be responsible for spotting issues, informing others, informing the right stakeholders, to follow information security guidelines, also to use the information systems and devices and apps according to the agreed rules, and to keep data safe. And here we can say it is about collaborating and promoting visibility, because there has to be some kind of communication among the people, among the employees, and also to think and work holistically, meaning just because someone is not into information security management team, it doesn't mean that they cannot or they should not do anything related to that. Therefore, think and work holistically from an organization perspective. Then the second one is work closely with customers and partners to align the information security efforts and use of technology. Because we see the term customer here, it definitely indicates something to do with focus on value. And some companies have world-class capabilities for information security management. But what they also do is they bring in less secure products and services, and then the entire investment for the information security management becomes weak or meaningless. So it is important to understand the various information security risks, and there may be opportunities surfacing by involving third parties, because all this is need to be considered, because the organization does not want to let down its customer or should not let down its customers. It is important to understand what the customer security requirements are, and also what the regulation is, and what the provider also knows from information security protection perspective, and everybody to collaborate. So good collaboration is needed between the organization and its customer to understand and meet those specific requirements. Therefore, we can say clearly here, focus on value and collaborate and promote visibility. The collaboration is between the customer and the provider. Then the third one is to assess your risks and understand the required level of information security. This is a bit similar to the previous one. We also mentioned in the previous one, it is important to understand the information security requirements, the risk, etc. But that point was more about aligning with the customers, understanding them. Here it is about assessing the overall risks of information security management and how much level of security is needed. Otherwise, the investment may be again wasted. If it is too much of investment, like there may be some things not really required from a security perspective, so no need to implement them or plan for them. Because all the time there are new attack vectors emerging, technology keeps changing, and there is always room for improving information security management. So the most important thing here is to assess the risks that might occur in the current business scenarios, and also look at the organization's risk appetite, what they're willing to accept and what not, and then go ahead with the right level of information security in place. Here, the gold plating means there's no point in adding more things just because it looks good if it is not going to create value. So therefore, focus on value. Start where you are, meaning there may be some things already in place and those are working well. So maintain them, and improvements could be done on them, but also do not add gold plating just for the sake of it, and keep it simple and practical. So do not complicate just because information security is complex. So we can also say here, for example, a particular organization may be into a specific industry domain, such as banking, and they might have a very high or a thorough rigor for information security. On the other hand, there might be a small business who might be into selling some books or something, who might not need so much of advanced information security management capabilities. So keep it simple and practical. Then we've got two more recommendations. Contextualize policies and standards to our organization. Yeah, depending on the organization's background and the nature of the work, etc., the policy should be developed. So this basically means what is sought by the customer, what is really needed for the customer, and what is the profile of the company that is embarking on information security management. They need to know which risks are realistic and which vulnerabilities are important, and accordingly invest in the information security management. It can happen sometimes that there may be certain policies and standards which are not relevant to an organization. So therefore, no need to go with them. So this is also a bit like the previous one that do not have gold plating. But what we are saying here is that it's more specific to the policies. So focus on value again, depending on what the customer needs and other needs are, and also progress small steps at a time, because you can create a few policies at the start and add some more and some more. So we can also saying, and as the organization grows further, then you can progress further, therefore progress iteratively with feedback. Then we have the last one, automate the detection of anomalies, leverage pattern analysis, and build resilience. So this is a bit technical here. So automate, therefore we have the principle of optimize and automate. And pattern analysis means that look at everything holistically. A detected pattern may indicate something else going on somewhere else. So think and work holistically. And anyway, today's world, we are quite lucky. We have so many tools available in software. They can be very useful for analyzing large amount of data to spot such anomalies and suspicious patterns. And that can help us to detect new attack vectors and new vulnerabilities. So many organizations are investing in such software tools. On the other hand, the modern infrastructure and software architecture patterns can also help to build resilient systems. So on one hand, we are trying to detect what could go wrong and suspicious patterns and anomalies, etc. On the other hand, we are also building more resilient systems. For example, closing off access to minimize the impact of breaches, automated incident resolution, automated service restoration, and so on. By doing this, the organization knows that even if there's an information security incident, the loss will be minimal and the outages will be kept short. So optimize and automate, think and work holistically.